Take a moment, look around you. What do you see? Perhaps you are sitting in a room, bathed in the soft glow of an electric light, reading these words on a screen. It all feels so normal, so completely ordinary. This is the world we have built, a world of quiet miracles we rarely stop to consider. But what if it were all gone? This was the reality for nearly all of human history. This exercise in imagination is not meant to inspire fear, but rather a sense of wonder. Each innovation acted as a building block, creating the foundation upon which the next idea could stand. Our modern world is a towering structure built by generations of thinkers who dared to imagine what it could be. This is the story of how they did it. Every great change in human history begins with a simple, powerful force. A question: what if we could communicate across vast distances in an instant? What if we could banish the darkness of the night? What if we could prevent diseases that have plagued humanity for centuries? These questions are the seeds of innovation. They are born from curiosity, from a deep-seated human need to understand, to improve, and to solve problems. An innovator is not just someone who builds a new machine, they are someone who first sees a different possibility, a better way of doing things. It's a spark of an idea that ignites a fire of change. This journey from a question to a world-altering invention is rarely a straight line. It is a path filled with challenges, setbacks, and moments of profound doubt. For every successful inventor we celebrate in our history books, there are thousands of forgotten individuals whose ideas never took flight. They faced resistance from society, which often fears the unknown. They encountered technical hurdles that seemed insurmountable. They were told their ideas were foolish, impractical, or even dangerous. Innovation is not just about having a brilliant idea, it is about having the resilience and the unwavering belief to see that idea through to the end. Think about the very first person who dared to control fire, or the individual who realized that planting a seed would lead to a reliable source of food. These were not acts of genius performed in a sterile laboratory, they were acts of courage and observation in a world that was often harsh and unforgiving. Each new tool, each new technique fundamentally altered the human experience. The invention of the printing press did not just make books cheaper, it democratized knowledge and fueled revolutions. The creation of the steam engine did not just make travel faster, it powered an industrial age that reshaped entire societies and the planet itself. In this exploration, we will journey back in time to witness some of these pivotal moments. We will look beyond the famous names and the finished products to understand the human stories behind them. We will see how a single idea, nurtured by curiosity and persistence, can ripple outwards, touching countless lives and setting the stage for the future. This is not just a history of machines and technologies, it is a history of human ingenuity, of our collective and ongoing quest to build a better world, one brilliant idea at a time. The story of innovation is, ultimately, the story of us. For all of human history, our lives were dictated by the rising and setting of the sun. When darkness fell, it brought vulnerability and limitation. The night swallowed productivity and safety. Before electricity, people fought back with fire, candles, and oil lamps. But these offered weak, smoky light and constant fire hazards. Even in the 19th century, the battle against the dark was a losing one. The darkness still held sway. The world needed a light that was clean, safe, reliable, and bright enough to turn night into day. The answer would come from harnessing an invisible force of nature. The dream of electric light was a fiercely competitive race. At the forefront were Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla. Edison was a pragmatist and master of publicity. His goal, an entire system of electrical generation. Tesla, a visionary genius, believed alternating current was superior. Alternating current could send power across hundreds of miles. This set the stage for the war of the currents. The victory came when Westinghouse and Tesla harnessed Niagara Falls. The rivalry accelerated progress and gave the world its light. The arrival of cheap, reliable electric light was not just a technological shift, it was a profound social revolution. Suddenly, the tyranny of the dark was broken. The human day was no longer bound by the sun. For the first time in history, people had control over their environment in a way their ancestors could never have imagined. The boundary between day and night began to blur. Factories could now run around the clock, dramatically increasing productivity and fueling the second industrial revolution. This created new economic opportunities, but it also changed the nature of work, introducing the concept of the night shift and altering the daily rhythms of millions of workers' lives. At home, the change was just as dramatic. The flickering, dangerous flames of candles and oil lamps were replaced by the clean, steady glow of the incandescent bulb. Homes became safer, as the risk of fire from open flames plummeted. Families could gather in the evening to read, talk, or play games in well-lit rooms. Children could do their homework long after the sun had set, opening up new educational possibilities. The very architecture of our homes began to change. Rooms could be built deeper into a house away from windows, without being condemned to permanent gloom. Electric light reshaped our private spaces, making them brighter, safer, and more livable. Public spaces were utterly transformed. City streets, once treacherous and dimly lit, became vibrant hubs of activity after dark. Theaters, restaurants, and shops could stay open late, giving rise to a new concept: nightlife. People were no longer confined to their homes in the evening. They could venture out with a newfound sense of safety and freedom. This ability to socialize and conduct business at night fundamentally changed the character of our cities, making them more dynamic, more connected, and more alive. The well-lit street became a symbol of modernity, progress, and civic pride, a beacon shining against the ancient darkness. The impact of electric light rippled outwards, touching every aspect of society. It powered new forms of entertainment like the cinema. It made modern hospitals possible, allowing surgeons to operate with clear visibility at any hour. It laid the foundation for virtually every other technology that would follow, from the radio to the computer. By conquering the night, we did more than just extend the day. We unlocked a new era of human potential. We created a world that was brighter, faster, and more productive. The simple act of flipping a switch became a daily miracle, a quiet reminder of the moment we finally took control of the dark. For centuries, distance meant silence. Messages traveled by foot, horse, or ship, and voices could only be heard in person. The telegraph changed that, sending coded pulses down wires, but it lacked the warmth and nuance of a real voice. Alexander Graham Bell, inspired by his work with the deaf, dreamed of transmitting speech itself. With his assistant Thomas Watson, Bell experimented relentlessly, seeking to turn sound into electricity and back again. After countless failures, the breakthrough came in 1876. "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." The words traveled through a wire, clear and unmistakable. For the first time, a human voice crossed the void, collapsing distance in an instant. This was more than invention, it was the birth of a new era, where voices could travel farther than ever before. The world, once divided by silence, was suddenly connected. Bell's telephone was the first step toward a truly global conversation. The age of speaking across continents had begun. Bell's telephone conquered distance with wires, but what about places wires couldn't reach? Guglielmo Marconi, inspired by radio waves, set out to send messages through the air itself. In 1894, tinkering in his attic, Marconi sent signals across rooms, then hills, and finally miles. He dreamed of connecting ships at sea and continents without cables. In 1901, Marconi received the first transatlantic wireless signal, a faint Morse code S, proving the world could be connected through invisible waves. His wireless telegraph saved lives, most famously during the Titanic disaster. Marconi's work laid the foundation for radio and broadcasting, making information truly global. The air itself became a medium for human connection. The world was now linked by whispers across the ether. The telephone and radio connected our voices, but the next leap would connect our minds. In the 1960s, ARPANET linked researchers, but it was complex and exclusive. Tim Berners-Lee, frustrated by this, envisioned a universal information space, the World Wide Web. He created HTTP, HTML, and the URL, tools that made the web possible. In 1990, the first website went live, quietly launching a revolution. Berners-Lee and CERN released the web's code for free, ensuring it would be open to all. This sparked a wave of creativity. Browsers like Mosaic made the web accessible and graphical. Businesses, creators, and communities rushed online. The web exploded, transforming from a niche tool to a global phenomenon. Billions of pages became woven into a digital tapestry. The world's knowledge was now just a click away. The telephone, radio, and internet didn't just speed up communication, they rewired society. Distance and time collapsed, relationships became immediate, and communities less bound by geography. The internet democratized information, giving everyone access to knowledge and opportunity. Small businesses reached global markets. Social movements found new voices. Work, learning, love, and entertainment all transformed in a hyper-connected world. We can now share stories, collaborate, and witness events across the globe in real time. Barriers of geography and culture have faded. Yet, new challenges emerged: information overload, privacy concerns, and digital divides. Still, the shift is undeniable. Each innovation wove another thread in our global network. We now live on a planet where a message can circle the globe in an instant. For most of history, humanity's deadliest enemy was invisible germs that caused devastating diseases. Cities overflowed with filth, water was tainted, and epidemics struck without warning. Plagues were blamed on bad air or divine wrath, and doctors were powerless. The breakthrough came with germ theory. Pasteur and Koch proved microbes cause disease. Suddenly the enemy had a face seen through a microscope. This new understanding sparked life-saving innovations. Clean water, sanitation, and vaccines became our greatest weapons. Simple solutions, not grand machines, saved millions. The war against germs reshaped our world and extended our lives. Science replaced superstition and survival became a matter of knowledge. The invisible enemy was finally revealed and could be fought. In 1854 London, a cholera outbreak devastated the Soho district. Physician John Snow mapped the deaths, revealing a cluster around the Broad Street water pump. Snow proved the cholera was in the water, contaminated by a nearby cesspit. Removing the pump handle stopped the outbreak. Clean water became a necessity, leading to massive infrastructure projects. This revolution saved countless lives, highlighting clean water's vital role. Clean water was our first defense, but another front line was needed. Edward Jenner transformed a dangerous practice into a safe procedure. He observed milkmaids who contracted cowpox seemed immune to smallpox. In 1796, Jenner inoculated James Phipps with cowpox. He remained healthy after exposure to smallpox. Jenner's vaccination was a monumental breakthrough, the birth of immunology. In 1980, smallpox was declared eradicated. Later, vaccines conquered polio and countless other illnesses. Vaccination, a simple shot, saving millions and freeing generations from ancient scourges. The innovations of clean water and vaccines were transformative, but their full power was only unleashed when they were combined with another, less tangible innovation: the creation of modern sanitation and public health systems. It was not enough to know that germs cause disease. Society had to be fundamentally reorganized to fight them. This meant creating an entire architecture of health, both physical and institutional. The physical architecture involved one of the most important and least celebrated inventions in human history: the sewer system. In the mid-19th century, cities like London and Paris undertook gargantuan engineering projects to build comprehensive sewer networks. These were not just ditches to carry away rainwater. They were complex underground marvels designed to safely transport human waste away from populated areas, preventing it from contaminating the drinking water and the living environment. Paired with the invention of the simple U-bend in toilets, which created a water seal to block foul-smelling and dangerous gases from entering homes, these systems broke the deadly cycle of disease transmission that had plagued urban life for centuries. Taking waste away became just as important as bringing clean water in. This hidden infrastructure formed the invisible foundation upon which healthy modern cities could be built, allowing millions of people to live together in close quarters without succumbing to constant epidemics. Alongside this physical infrastructure, a new social infrastructure was born: the field of public health. Governments began to create health departments and agencies tasked with protecting the well-being of the entire population. These organizations took on the role of guardians, monitoring disease outbreaks, enforcing sanitation laws, inspecting food and water supplies, and running mass vaccination campaigns. They promoted health education, teaching people the importance of simple, life-saving habits like washing their hands. Public health turned individual medical knowledge into collective societal action, recognizing that the health of one person is intrinsically linked to the health of the community. These systems of water, sanitation, and public health represent the pinnacle of preventative medicine. They don't just cure disease, they stop it from ever happening. Together they form a protective shield around our society, a shield so effective that most of us are completely unaware of its existence. We flush a toilet, drink a glass of water, and live our lives without a second thought for the complex systems that make these simple acts safe. These everyday miracles have added decades to the average human lifespan. They are a testament to the idea that some of the most profound innovations are not flashy gadgets, but the quiet, systematic, and collective efforts to build a healthier world for everyone. Nearly every world-changing invention was first met with a formidable wall of resistance. This opposition comes from established industries, the public, and institutions wary of disrupting the status quo. Consider Ignaz Semmelweis, who discovered a way to save lives with a simple solution: hand washing. He was ridiculed and ostracized. Semmelweis's story reminds us that innovation is not just technical, it's a social challenge requiring courage and conviction. Innovators face a daunting obstacle: the loneliness of being first. To have an original idea is to see what no one else sees. This is an isolating experience. There's no map, no expert, no crowd. The Wright brothers keenly felt this loneliness. They focused on control, studying birds. In desolate Kitty Hawk, they experimented, enduring setbacks. Driven by curiosity, they were their own experts. Their 12-second flight was a victory against solitude. Innovation often begins in quiet, lonely places, requiring fortitude to pursue a solitary vision. Our histories of innovation often forget the messy, frustrating, and absolutely essential role of failure. For any innovator, failure is a fundamental part of the process. Every experiment that goes spectacularly wrong is a lesson in what does not work. Think of James Dyson and his quest to build a better vacuum cleaner. He built 5,126 failed prototypes before he finally landed on one that worked perfectly. Breakthroughs are forged in the fires of trial and error. The willingness to embrace failure and to learn from the outcome is the true engine of progress. It is the understanding that the path to success is paved with thousands of small, necessary failures. As we have journeyed through the stories of light, connection, and health, a single unifying thread emerges: human curiosity. It is the unstoppable engine that has driven every innovator from the first person to tame fire to the architects of our digital world. It is the simple act of looking at the world and asking, what if? Each story is a testament to the power of a curious mind. It is an innate part of the human spirit, a quality we all possess. It is the direct result of this curiosity being nurtured, protected, and acted upon. It is our greatest tool for solving the problems of the future, and to create everyday miracles we cannot yet imagine. Looking forward, the future will be shaped by the next generation of innovators. They might be writing code, editing genes, or reimagining social systems. The spirit of ingenuity and persistence remains the same. The future rests on those who refuse to accept that today's problems are unsolvable. Failures are necessary rites of passage on the path to a breakthrough. Our role is to foster an environment where innovation is celebrated. The challenge is to wield new technologies with wisdom and responsibility. It is a story of hope, a narrative of human potential. By embracing change, we become part of the great project of innovation. The future is unwritten, waiting for its next spark of an idea.